Hey YouTube, it's Kristin. You're watching Chatterbox Budgets. Thank you so much for joining me for a video today. I hope everyone is doing well. It is Saturday, March 12th, 2022. It's about 3 p.m. here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we are going to do my weekly check-in for the first week of March, which for me will go from Tuesday the 1st until Monday the 7th. Oh, excuse me. So the lighting will be different in here than it normally is because we're in my office instead of being in my living room. And my cat decided he wanted to go sit in the window. So I have the blinds open so he can see out the window. Okay, so, all right. So just to remind everybody, I am I'm an hourly employee who's paid bi-weekly, but I do budget monthly. And I'm a month ahead on covering my expenses. So everything I'm paying in March is being covered from the earnings in February. And then my paychecks in March will go towards my expenses for April. So yeah. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Whoop. Okay. I'm also on a different size table, so this is going to be a little bit interesting trying to figure out how all this is going to work. All right. So on Tuesday the 1st, we have Prosper for $160.71. That's for my loan category. Google One, that's $9.99 from the fee category. That's for one of my email accounts and storage and stuff. YouTube Premium was $12.85 from the fees category. This is a transfer to Google Play for $15. I did that to cover one of my other email accounts and storage so that I don't have to actually do it monthly. However, I will still have to count for it monthly because it's not all paid at once. I was going to do it annually, but I couldn't figure out how to change it. Anyway, so I'm counting it as a transfer instead of a payment from the fees because it's just the money hasn't been paid to them yet. It's just sitting in the account waiting to be used. And then Intermountain Pharmacy was $19.05. That came from the health category. DoorDash on the 2nd for $24.41. That's from food. And then on the 3rd, we've got Cricket for $63. That's for my cell phone. DoorDash $17.12. That's for food. Walmart $126.59. That's for pharmacy, or for health, I should say. That's actually for the 4th. I didn't run out of room. And then Dominion was for my natural gas. That's $31. That's from the bill category. Kindle Unlimited $10.71 for fees. DoorDash $27.62. That's for food. Walmart grocery $74. These are for the 5th. So for the 5th, we've got Walmart grocery $74.12 for food, and then $3.89 for home, and then $34.37 for pets. Then also on the 5th, we've got Avenue 5 for $62.75 from the fee category, from bills. That's for the utilities I pay to my apartment complex. And then Avenue 5, $1,225. That's for rent. Yardy 95 cents. Oh, sorry, these are both from the home category. Yardy 95 cents. That's for paying my rent online through their portal. That's the lowest of the fees they charge. And then Sam's Club, $80.05 for pets. That's for dog treats. And then Sam's Club, $20.36 for food. That's for some protein bars. And then Walmart Pharmacy, $25.65. That's from the health category as well. And then DoorDash, $14.92 for food. This was the day that I did not receive my delivery for DoorDash, but because they did have the incorrect address or like extra information in the address that I couldn't see, and so I answered the question honestly, they only gave me half of my money back. So basically, I spent $14.92 to break my addiction to DoorDash. So we'll count it as a win, I guess. Okay, so then on the 6th, we've got Venmo Rewards. There was an income income of $3.21. That's for my Venmo Visa card, just the rewards that I get. I only get 1% back because when Walmart changed their website or their app a couple months ago, it changed it so that now anything I order through Walmart grocery no longer gets separated out into grocery So instead of being 3% like it should be, it's only 1%. So, but that's okay. It's still money back, and it's the card I use for that, so it's just easier to stick with it. And then Walmart grocery, $10 from auto category. That's the delivery tip from the day before I take out of my gas budget. And then I have 2 transfers on the 7th. both for credit cards, $65.32 to Chase, and then $1,111.80 to Discover Card. Those are transfers because it's to pay off credit cards that I had just used the week before. So I don't have credit card debt. I'm just paying for just reimbursing myself for what I've used. So yeah, and then over here on the weekly record, okay, let's see. So I have my spendings or my expenses split into two different sections. I've got the scheduled expenses, which are things that have a set due date, a set dollar amount. Even if they change from month to month, I still know by the first of the month how much they're going to be and when they're going to happen. And they're things that some of them are things I can control and some of them are things I can't, but I consider all of them scheduled expenses because I know ahead of time, basically. And then I have my unscheduled expenses, which are things that I know I have to pay for, like food and gas, but I don't know exactly when. So I'm going to sit down. I don't know why I'm standing up. Probably just so I can see the camera. Okay, so for the auto insurance, we haven't spent that yet. That's got $60 in it. This is my starting amount for the month. Cell phone, I started with $68. I spent $63, so I have $5 left. That'll go to savings. Electricity, I started with $52. I haven't spent that yet. Internet, started with $100. That hasn't been used yet. Natural gas, we started with $31. We spent $31, so there's nothing left. Water, sewer, and trash, we started with $80. Spent $60.75, so we have $17.25 left. That will go to savings because there's only going to be one payment and I've already made it, so I'm just giving myself a little bit of a cushion just in case later on that it ends up being more than the $80 a month that I'm planning. Then I have some money in savings that I can use to pay it. And then for annual fees, keeps moving the lamp. They're $70. Hasn't been used yet. That will probably just go to savings because my next annual fee isn't until June when I have to pay my car registration. And then subscriptions, we started with $158, spent $33.55, so we're left with $124.45 for week 2. Gym and fitness, we started with $17, that hasn't been spent yet. Home insurance, we started with $8, that hasn't been spent yet. For rent, we started with $1,226, we spent $1,225.95. So we have 5 cents left, that'll go to savings at the end of the month. And then for my loan payment, we started with $230. We spent $160.71, leaving us with $69.29. That goes to savings, and then my goal is to make an extra payment at the end of the quarter for my loan. I've only had it since September, so I haven't ever looked into how to make an extra loan payment for them, but they just auto pay it on the first of every month, so we'll see. Okay, so the total amount we started with for the scheduled expenses was $2,100. We spent $1,576.96. So I'm left with $523.04. I don't know why I switch back and forth from we to me. It's always just me. Okay, so for unscheduled expenses, for gas and fuel, we started with $60. We spent $10, so we're left with $50. Groceries and food, we started with $300. We're left with we spent $178.55. We're left with $121.45. Households, we started with $60. We spent $3.89. We're left with $56.11. Miscellaneous, we started with $20. We haven't spent anything yet. Personal stuff, we started with $60. We haven't spent anything yet. And pet stuff, we started with $200. We spent $114.42, leaving us with $85.58 for week 2. So, household is laundry soap, paper towels, toilet paper, anything you use for managing a household or running a household. And then personal stuff is anything you use on a person, like deodorant, body wash, toothpaste, things like that. The exception to that is I don't pay for my shampoo and conditioner or any hair care products out of that category because I take them out of my personal care fund since I order everything through my sister who's my hairstylist. So, and then pet stuff is anything that my pets need on a daily basis, like food treats, toys, and then anything for their waste management. Yeah. Okay, so we started with $700 for the month for unscheduled expenses, spent $306.86, so I'm left with $393.14 going into week 2. So my grand total for the start of the month was $2,800. I've spent $1,883.82 so far, leaving me with $116.18 for the rest of the month. Now, I probably will go over on groceries because I did spend twice as much that first week than I should have. But I'm going to try not to. I'm hoping that this week I can get by without any spending too much. I did get a couple of things yesterday, but my dad picked them up for me. So all I had to pay for were the actual, he got milk and some soda for me, and that was. So if I can make everything else last until the third week, then I might be able to keep from going over. But I knew I probably would. And so hopefully my spending will be under from the other categories to cover for it. And then pets, we should be okay. I do spend about $30 a week for dog treats, but I have a cupboard full, so I really shouldn't need to buy any. I just tend to order them when I get my groceries because I don't want to ever run out. And I still have anxiety about that after what happened 2 years ago with all the supplies being down and everything. So, okay, so there's that. All right, so then the next thing we have, oh, I didn't fill it out. So I have irregular expenses. The only one I've spent so far was my health fund. I spent like $172 out of my health fund, but that's my health savings account. So it doesn't come out of my freedom funds necessarily. So I don't do sinking funds. I do freedom funds. Basically, it's money that I do set aside for specific things that I know are going to come up, but I have it all in one fund, and then I just, when I know I've got something coming up that month, I put money aside from that main fund to whatever fund's going to be used that month. So for example, I have a hair appointment on the 22nd, so I'll take $200 out of the $500 that's in that fund to use for that hair appointment, and that money is just sitting in my safe because I always pay cash. So yeah, I don't like to have it all separated into the different categories outside of when I actually need it. I like to have it in one main account. It's just easier for that's just how my brain works. So anyway, okay, so I think that's good. We only had one thing of income so far. It was $3.42. That was for the rewards. And then this is the sheet I use for tracking the weekly expenses. So that's what it looks like. So yeah, I just go through and I usually keep track of what account it came out of, but I haven't been worrying about that too much. So I use my credit cards. I have 4 credit cards I use regularly, and all of them have a different purpose or a different type of expense to be paying for. So my Capital One Quicksilver credit card is used for anything that would be a freedom fund, so like clothes, electronics, things like that. I would normally use that card for it. I did use my Discover card this last time around because my Discover card's kind of, I can use that for anything I want to. And so that one's actually the one I've had the longest, and let's see, my Capital One card hasn't had rewards until just the last couple weeks, so I'm still getting used to that one. But that's what I want to use that one for, is anything that's my freedom fund, things like traveling and stuff like that. And then my Chase credit card, which is my Prime signature card, that one I use for all of my Prime payments. So anything I pay, like for Audible, Kindle, the Prime channels I pay for, and then basically any Prime orders that I pay for. So I get cash back on that one too. So I do get cash back on all of my credit cards, which is why I use them all. But I like having different cards that I'm using little amounts on because it's worked really well for me. But I've said this before, so if you've watched my other videos, this will be repetitive, but my philosophy is that I don't spend money on my credit cards that I don't have already sitting in an account, either my checking account or my cash or my Venmo. It can be my Venmo Cash app too. But I don't use credit cards to pay for anything that I don't have the money available to pay the credit card off right away. So I don't borrow from my future self, basically, is what I'm trying to say. The exception to that is I do use Affirm, which is kind of like a loan or a line of credit kind of a situation. They do charge interest, but it doesn't go on your credit report. And so the reason I don't want to use my credit cards for long-term purchases that I have to pay off over time, like I might have to replace my cell phone here pretty soon, and I don't get them through my cell phone company. I pay for them outright. Anyway, is because it does impact my credit score, and I've been working really hard to get my credit score up to the highest amount I can. So Affirm doesn't impact that, so that's why I like to use Affirm. But also with Affirm, I can choose how long, like I do 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And so it's kind of the same thing, but I really only use it for big purchases. And for me, for spending money, like I might go to Walmart and purchase $200 worth of items, and I may end up only keeping like half of them. And so the benefit of using Affirm is it instead of spending all the money up front and then having the return, I'm spending just a portion at the beginning, and then they put the credit towards the end of the payment plan or whatever. So it's not the best thing ever, but for me, I'm a recovering compulsive shopper who also used to spend my rent money on fit clothes. It works really well, and because it's a lot more work to do it, because you have to actually go in and like set it up and like you get the card number and stuff, it's not the easiest thing to use. So I'm more likely to think about purchases before I use it than I would otherwise. So I had purchased a laptop last week because I wanted to replace my home computer, which died, and my Chromebook, which is dying and won't be getting updates after June. But I wanted to get a laptop, so I had ordered the laptop using Affirm, and then I was just going to pay Affirm back quicker. And as soon as I got the laptop, or the next day, I realized that they are doing a new model of the laptop I ordered. So I actually took the laptop back to Best Buy, returned it, and so now I have the money sitting in my Affirm account. I can use it if I want to buy a new one, but I probably won't. It's open until the 2nd of April, so I could buy the new one with it, but I may not do that. I don't know. But anyway, it just works really well for me. It's kind of the same thing, but in that situation, I am borrowing from my future self, but I'm borrowing from my future self in a more what's the word? Intentional way. Like, I know what I'm doing when I do it. I'm putting more effort and thought into it, so I'm not just swiping my credit card anywhere I want to, or, you know, buying stuff online anywhere I want to. So it works really well for me. I don't recommend it for people who are trying to get out of debt, but because I do have all my credit cards paid off, and I have my personal loan and then my 401k loan that are being paid, but I wouldn't recommend it for other people necessarily. But for me, since paying off my loans is not my highest priority right now, my priority is keeping my credit cards paid off, increasing my credit score, and being a month ahead on my expenses. That's why I do it that way. But there are still things I have to buy. Like, I still have to buy clothes. I still need to have shoes. I purchase things usually once a quarter or once a year, depending what it is. But like my jeans, I usually buy once a year or every 2 years, depending. And then I don't have to replace them until they wear out. So I tend to purchase more all at once because I am buying for like a year or two's worth of supplies. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyway, okay. Well, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'll let you guys go. But I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. This is actually not late for me to record because my plan is my month's divided by 4 weeks, no matter how many days are in the month. So because of that, and because I don't know what day of the week it's going to end ahead of time, I mean, I do, it's on my calendar, but I try to film my check-ins the Saturday after the week ends. So that's my plan. I don't know. That's just my plan. I work during the week, and so I don't like to try to film during the week if I can help it. Sometimes I'm in the mood to, but lately it's hard enough to get myself going to work in the morning. I wake up 3 hours before I have to be to work, but I usually am doing other things around the house, and then I'll usually go back and take a nap before work because I've been dealing with different things like bronchitis and stuff. So, all right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. It's daylight savings this time. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of the daylight something or other. Let's see what it is. Oh yeah, it's daylight savings time begins, which is today. So the way that I get through that is my clock in my bedroom actually stays at the daylight savings time. So it already says it's an hour ahead. So this morning when I woke up, I woke up at 4:30, but I was telling myself it was 5:30. So all day long, I'm telling myself it's an hour ahead of what it actually is, except in the video I said the right time. But that way I'm already like ahead of time. Like, so when the clocks change, it's not quite as much of an adjustment. And I've actually been doing it for like a week. I start preparing long before that. But I also have a dog that wakes me up at the same time. So he's on, like, he wakes me up. So if it's 5:30 during daylight savings time, it's actually 4:30 anyway, I don't know what I'm trying to say. All right, you guys, I will try to end this awkwardly. I don't know how that goes, but all right, you guys, take care of yourselves. Have a good day. Bye.